Go ahead and turn this in. Alright, I think this one was in the one thing? Command, Central Command, right? I think. Yep. Excellent work, Cadet. Thanks to you, our fair citizens can sleep in peace once more. Do accept this as a token of my gratitude. 3 mega elixirs. Okay, then. Alright. Bum ba bum 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 ba bum 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 bum. Alright, where was Reed? Was that in the armory? I think it was? Yeah, there he is.
Yes?
Viva Lorica and diary for Reed. I must know what events transpired. What happened to my people in the hours leading up to that fateful day? There must be some sort of record left at the blast site. I would search on my own were I not currently on assignment, unable to leave my post. You have my thanks in advance.
Yes?
This is precisely what I had hoped to find. You have my undying gratitude. Allow me to offer you this humble token of my appreciation. A pair of crystal gloves. That continues his quest.
You too.
Uh-oh. You're so gloomy.
It's the big dude.
I have been notified that I am unfit for battle. I must leave academia.
Oh no.
What? But you're so strong!
I am too old. The crystal may release me at any time, and I will no longer be able to use magic.
That sucks.
They say such cadets cannot be sent into battle.
I didn't know.
But even if I do lose my magic powers, I want to save as many lives as I can.
Naturally.
I want to act as a shield until the end.
The
You
rear
realize
end.
that fighting as a cadet isn't the only way to save people.
What?
For example, with your knowledge and experience, you could train us cadets, teach us important survival skills.
There you go.
You've gained a lot from all your experiences. With you as our teacher, we could greatly benefit from your wisdom.
Yeah. You can protect people that way too. Right?
So I must change my way of thinking. That will not be easy. All I've ever thought about is to continue the fight. Changing that is like changing the way I live. But
Yeah.
alas, that is exactly what I must think about.
Attack increased by 3. Okay, that's pretty badass.
Yes?
I have lost my home and my history, but in you I have found true friendship. You all have my utmost gratitude. Alright, we helped him out and such. It was pretty epic. We helped him out! Bet you didn't know that. And everyone's attack went up by 3 for it. That is noise. How you doing?
we have to blow up a building without hurting the ones around it?
How do we do that? Once we blow it up, everything around it will go kaboom.
An explosives expert.
7.
Yeah, let's ask her.
Oh boy. Oh, her.
You came to pick on me again?
What do you mean again? We never picked on you before.
We were hoping to benefit from your knowledge.
Well, if you have the blueprint for the building, it's simple.
How simple?
Calculate the mass, then position and adjust the charge so that the blast goes inward. It's simple.
That's simple?
Uh-huh.
Mutsuki, I need a favor.
See? Told you it was simple.
I'm impressed, Mutsuki.
Huh?
Yes. Very well done. We couldn't have done it without you.
Huh? What? You're lying! Class Zero couldn't do that!
Yeah, it's true. We don't know anything about bombs. You were a big help, Mutsuki.
Really?
Bombs? You want it?
Really?
We'll call you if we need you again.
Okay.
Thanks. See you later.
Hey!
Hmm?
If you really need me that much, I'll help you anytime.
Cool.
I mean, if I have some time to kill. So,
All right. When we need your expertise, we'll give you a call.
All right. See you later.
yeah! See ya!
Okay then. Power of bomb classmatic increased by 10 levels. Okay. That's like the most random thing ever. But that's cool. We'll go ahead and do the chocobo then. Get our chocobos and whatever and things and Mountain Dew and you know how it is. Swiftwind chocobo, 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 Swiftwind chocobo. Nice. We need more of these war chocobos. I think that's what needs to happen. Dun 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 dun. It's new feed. Do 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 do. Alright. But up. Okay then, let's can check the rubrum again. I think there's should be some new stuff here. Well, there's something new there. Rise of the Black Tortoise. While geographic safety and security are no doubt vital to a society's survival, there is something to be said of civilizations that elect to live life on the edge. Take the city-state of Lorica, for example. Located precariously around the ridge of an enormous sinkhole, Lorica rose to prominence on the strength of its trade, and its aggressive policy of economic diplomacy ultimately resulted in the prosperous Lorican alliance. I think this came from that item that we picked up. Their pioneer spirit would come to profit them on another notable occasion, when an industrious young Lorican named Urshenby discovered the black tortoise crystal buried within the aforementioned sinkhole some 28 years after the advent of the vermilion bird crystal. Of course, we found their crystal. The boy became the crystal's protector, turning Lassie, and another peristyllium dedicated to the cultivation of agito arose shortly thereafter. It is said that the warriors of Lorica, renowned for their might and temper, received the blessings of the crystals through the anointment of Urshenby. They stand as a testament to the bold spirit of their ancestors, who chose the hazard-laden path to fortune. Fun. The Alliance Military. Maybe this came from the item. Maybe both of them, I'm not sure, but... Each city-state in the Lorican Alliance organized a troop of... Whoa, my mic fell over. Stop it. Organized a troop of mounted paladins, and these individual orders converged to create the Alliance Army. The number of each knightly order varied greatly depending on the size of their respective cities. Small villages would provide as few as 50 paladins, whereas Lorica, the largest of the city-states, boasted a total of 20,000 knights. More than 100 of these organizations existed throughout the Alliance, and the entire army totaled 300,000 warriors. Unfortunately, however, none of these knights shall ever again gallantly gallop across the field of battle, as the Empire's Ultima bomb completely decimated the country of Lorica and all of her people. That's a shame. Gotta hate it when that happens. Militus seizes the Black Tortoise Crystal. The Imperial Army dispatched several units to the rubble-laden ruins of what was once the capital of the Lorican Alliance before the Ultima bomb. Their objective was to locate the Black Peristyllium and seize the Black Tortoise Crystal housed therein. Believed the entire population of Lorica annihilated, Imperial Central Command initially anticipated a bloodless occupation. The Empire was met with an unpleasant surprise, however, when a small group of blast survivors greeted the Imperial troops who stormed the underground chambers. Although the Paladins put forth a valiant effort, outnumbered and overwhelmed, they ultimately fell to the Imperial forces. Once they had executed the remaining survivors, the Imperial units retrieved the crystals and transported it back to Militus. A Lorican warrior present for these final days recorded his view of the Alliance's resistance in a memoir, which states, Pure 24, I can't read. The Empire has attacked. We are outnumbered 10 to 1. The outlook is bleak. We can't beat Luigi's adventure. Pure 16. Our leader, Sir Ishmi, has fallen in battle. His was an honorable death, impaled while driving his blade into one of the Empire's Magitech armors. The Empire has come within half a mile of our crystal. We must not allow them to advance any further. Pure 17. 7/10 of our order have been destroyed. My comrades, Pilisar, Azura, Akkad, Elishuma, Sulamu, all of them charged the Imperial forces but never returned. Pure 18. There is no turning back. Tomorrow will be our last stand. Glory be unto the Black Tortoise. Alright then. Sounds like fun. Thwarting the royal ambush. Left with no other option after losing the province of Roshana, the royal army had to come up with a bold new strategy. After some deliberation, the kingdom decided to dispatch a special squad to invade Dominion territory by sea and attack from behind like cowards in a surprise amphibious assault. The unit arrived on the unmanned Migo coast, and they landed without shedding a single drop of blood. Huh. Given that the amphibious squad had not yet rallied its forces, Dominion Central Command determined it would be unnecessary to deploy its entire army to deal with the incident. Thus, they left their main forces on the front lines, and instead ordered a special cadet task force to exterminate the invading Draco Knights. The cadets made quick work of the invaders, blowing the kingdom's brilliant ploy out of the water. Damn right we did. Wyvern in the Woods. Although Rubrum had successfully overtaken the province of Roshana, remnants of the royal army still remained active. Lurking in the surrounding jungles, these wyvern-centric units hid among the overgrown foliage and ambushed unsuspecting legionaries from behind, like cowards, inflicting massive casualties on the Dominion army. Tearing out what little hair he had left in frustration, the Commandant deployed a cadet task force to infiltrate the Concordian jungles and eliminate the devious dragon squads. The cadets had little trouble navigating the woods of Roshana, and they successfully exterminated the remaining royal forces. So that's something. Whoa, I do not want to restart my laptop, thank you very much. I'll do that some other time. You mother beaver. Shira. Oh, we got some new ones here. Prove Eminence Identity 8 Shiraga. That just shows the video. Like, whatever. Don't really need to bother with that. The real Emina.
You found me out.
I found her out and such. The climatic clash at Azure. Having forced the Kingdom of Concordia into an anticlimactic surrender, Rubrum was free to shift its strategy and deploy its entire military force to Militus. Although superior to the Imperial forces in terms of raw strength, the Dominion army faced a stark numerical disadvantage. By dispatching their entire fleet and remobilizing troops stationed at the Imperial capital, the Militus army mustered 800,000 men and women to obliterate Rubrum's 600,000. Now that the Dominion was devoid of reserve forces, all the Empire needed to do was crush the legions at Azure and force a retreat in order to turn the tide of the war. Unfortunately, however, the Imperial troops were powerless against the Dominion's Eidolons they met on the front lines. The Empire's resistance ended in vain. It sure did. The Dominion legions in the twilight of war. The Dominion legions were comprised of 7 armies, each divided into 3 corps, which in turn contained 3 divisions each. As the war entered its final stages, the Dominion legions strove to expand their forces by mobilizing soldiers from their newly liberated cities. The independent summoning regiments dealt crippling blows to the Royal and Imperial armies at the battles of Judeca and Big Bridge, respectively, but by their very nature, the regiments themselves also suffered great casualties. Those losses notwithstanding, new summoning units began forming one after another. By the Battle of Azure, the Dominion boasted an impressive 28 summoning regiments. Thanks to Central Command's mobilization program, the entire Dominion army swelled to an impressive 68 divisions, a force of 700,000 men and women. The Agado cadets, however, did not fare so well. Inherently fewer than the legionaries, the cadet numbers dropped off drastically as a result of frequent assignment to military hotspots. The personnel from all 13 classes totaled 1,417 cadets at the time of their initial conscription. By the time the Dominion waged an assault on Azure, however, the cadets' numbers plummeted to a mere 361. Damn. What a downgrade. You don't downgrade him because he does everything right and may not play as well on Saturday, but you let us make that decision. Although all 13 classes remained intact, each unit had no more than 20 cadets to its name. The Dominion attempted to supplement these losses by deploying trainees in the cadets' stead, but the loss of personnel was too severe to recoup. That's a shame. You hate to see it happen, but that's how it goes sometimes, man. I don't think there's any new characters or anything like that, but you never know. Freaking Gilgamesh. Oh, except for these things. White Tiger, let's see. We already read those. Black Tortoise or a Shabang. Black Tortoise will seem Shamhat. Okay. I think we did actually get a new Eidolon, didn't we? I don't know if it'll say anything here, but... Troll. Isn't that what we got? I don't know, whatever. I don't give a fuck. Striker Transport's new. 3! I wonder if they're an RA. Or EDF. While Imperial engineers were mass-producing the Warrior, they simultaneously began developing and manufacturing this derivative transport model as per a request from Imperial Logistics. The Army moved supplies from Ingram to bases via airship. But the only way to transfer those supplies to the front lines was to entrust them to MAs. And more often than not, the soldiers themselves. Reluctant to relegate troops they could station at the front lines to delivery duty, Militesi officials devised a plan to entrust the task of transporting supplies to MAs, sanctioned as the S-242 Terrain MAT. In order to cut costs, R&D initially began constructing these models from salvaged parts of Strikers and Warriors. However, increased demand prompted engineers to simply start building the Striker transports from scratch, and eventually these models comprised nearly 97% of all Striker types being produced at the end of the war. So that's a thing. Anything else new? Adamantortus. I guess it's a different thing. We killed one of them. Guess it counts as a different enemy. Easily the largest creature in all of Orience, the Adamantortus douses its enemies with water bombs to restrict their movements, then slowly slides in for the kill. Those foolish enough to attempt a rear assault against the giant will be met with disappointment, as its sturdy shell nullifies all attacks. The Royal Army employs a certain breed of Adamantortus known as the Cragapus. Although so few of this species still exist that the kingdom has simply taken to naming each of the Cragapuses individually. That's gotta be some hard work. There's the Cactuar with a K. Excuse me. A close relative of the Cactuar, can also be found all over the world of Orience, and they're lower leveled. Moreover, its behavioral pattern are also nearly identical to those of the common Cactuar, and the two species are almost physically indistinguishable. Although the Cactuar with a K is said to be slightly more jovial than its cousin, in addition, the Cactuar with a K sprays 9,999 needles when it attacks opponents, making it precisely 8,999 needles deadlier than the average Cactuar. I don't know about that, but you never know. You never know, man. Record of service. Monster Pursuit 6. Oh yeah. Last Days of Lorica. Not a whole lot of requests left, it would seem. We're almost done with all that bullshit. There's still a few question marks, and I'm guessing that's for when you get your airship, which should be coming up. One would think. The ultimate spell, Vermilion Bird. Old wine be to build energy, then release to summon the Vermilion Bird. You must have 3 cadets in your squad to cast a spell. Press your active squad command from the squad formation menu. Only 1 squad command may be equipped per mission. Didn't we already have that? Like, I don't know. Whatever. It matters not. Shut up, man! Okay. Good times. So I think there might be like one more, or there might be a couple more expert trials, I'm not sure, but I think we'll save that for next time. Arena! Okay. Who do we want to get the training? Queen, maybe? 9s and 48. Sure, why not? There we go! Bum-da-dum-ba-dum. Alright. So, thanks everyone for stopping by. That was a nice, almost 4-hour stream. And I shall see y'all next time. Good stuff.